my programming engineers, welcome back once more to this course for drives. So I had previously told you about a new section that we would be entering, in which I would be in charge of configuring 4 drives for 4 different brands from scratch. Yeah, all of it from scratch. This is what we need in our drives, the practical part. We already saw our simulation part or emulators. However, we now need to set as an example what we learned in our drives. So I'm going to run configuration and our connections so that you guys can see the differences and the similarities between all the brands. Trust me, guys, that if you guys apply this methodology at the moment when you upload any type of drive or any type of brand, you're already on the other side. You're set. Now remember that if we start and stop the motor and we can configure this without any type of help, we are going to get better income. We're actually going to get better confidence. We're going to create and generate more confidence with our customers, or also with our teammates, as well as with our peers, with our the people that we work with. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to learn about a topic that is not very explicit. So you guys need to pay a lot of attention, okay? So let's start this off, guys. All right, so what do we have here? This is a document that I gave myself the task to create this. This is run through Excel. It's a spreadsheet. Now, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. I added here on our left the steps that I had to run to get our configurations for our drives. Now, guys, this part for our drive configuration is not where our course is finished. Okay, so we finished this, and we're going to go to our review for new parameters, for some other additional explanations. But trust me, guys, by doing this, you guys are 95% in. This is guaranteed as far as drive configuration goes for additional parameters. I had previously told you, but I don't want you guys to skip this course, or this section of the course actually, where you say, oh, well, we're already done, let's go to PowerFlex. I don't recommend this, guys. I recommend that you finish this, that you practice, because there's also a certain exercise before you do this that you need to analyze, you need to solve on the manual part, on the how to look for this, and then hedge your bets if you did this correctly and compare it with the way that I performed this. So remember that we need to set this and test this out to see if it works or if it doesn't work. Okay? And then after we review the additional parameter part for additional explanations with our reducer and our explanation for our breaks for bigger and better time, okay, for more dedication. I hadn't considered that I explained it at the beginning because we could get confused with this. Okay, so we have to learn the most essential part, and then we're going to start adding more things. So trust me, this is going to be very quick, very easy. And then, this is for the final part of the course. We're going to stick to our configuration part for our PowerFlex with our PLC. So guys, don't move, guys, okay? Because the PowerFlex part is going to be very important and very, very essential. Okay, now having said this, let us continue. So we're going to start this off first with our Delta drive. As we start configuring and as we start starting up our motor, as well as starting up and configuring our drives, we're going to fill this chart, and then we're going to go to our next variator. And then our next one, and so on. So, Delta. Delta, but not from Emerson, because there are many companies that are called Delta. In automation, I've heard at least two of them, which are Emerson Delta and the Delta Delta, which apparently, as far as I can remember, it's a Taiwanese company. Okay? So some of the advantages for Delta, in reality, it's a very economical device. So they hedge their bets with economy. And also their softwares and their licenses are free. So these are things that don't really happen with the automation monsters like Allen Bradley or Rockwell Automations and Siemens. So Delta bet on providing free software. And also, they don't overcomplicate things at the moment when they design their drives for their PLCs. So this is pretty simple. And also, Delta was also betting, or also bet, with Ethernet communications. And they've also used drives and servos and Delta PLCs for some pretty simple projects. Now, also, this works pretty well because I've also implemented certain communications for Ethernet with Delta drives. Okay? And also by communicating with the PLC for our Delta or for Allen Bradley. Now, I can confirm this. We can do this. Okay, we can communicate our Delta drive because it has a communication card, an external communication card. And we add this to our drive part, and with this, we are basically ready to run communications. Okay, so this is a brief summary of our Delta drive as far as drive goes and its advantages. Okay, they're very economical. So generally, they're very affordable. So generally, the ones that I've had to work with, they're very accessible. Okay, for each company, but they don't hide any information at all. So if I needed EDSs to download any drives, they gave me the link. If I was unable to find it, they even had their own database and they would assign it to me directly. Now, Delta does not keep any information. It's completely transparent. So then Delta is actually affecting very strongly on the automation part. Okay? Now, aside from this, the drive that I have in my hands is this model, which I'm writing down. Okay? Here we go. So I'm going to leave you the manual directly in the resources part in this same video for a drive. Or I'm also going to give you all at the beginning of the course so that you don't overcomplicate yourself to see where the document is going to be located at. But in any ways, I'm still going to look for a manual from scratch so you guys can see how to look for manuals online in case you don't have the manual. Okay, so I have my physical manual. But I'd also like to work together with you guys. Okay, so it would do me no good and it wouldn't do you any good if I were there with my physical name to look for the parameters and then focus in the camera. It's going to be very, very tiring very quickly. Okay, so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to prevent ourselves. Okay, we're going to prevent everything that has to do with all of the information, all the parameters, everything that we are supposing to do so in our videos or our video. And we're going to add them here also. So this is where we're going to run a parentheses. Okay, so please pause your videos and do all of this. Okay? Enter based on the model number on the drive. Look for the information, check which parameters are good to enter the data for our motor data plate, so that in this case we can see which parameters are good to enter our speed for our motor, which ones add the difference for our start, and which parameter is useful to run digital connection inputs. And also which ones are those that are in charge to configure inputs and outputs for our drives. So data plate numbers, the motor that I have here with me, is this one actually. I took a picture of this. Maybe you're not even able to see this. But it's the data information motor, or the motor information data. We can find it here. So if it's telling me in this case that it's 250 volts, and 50 hertz is only 250 volts. Okay? So there's not going to be any problem if we find this type of situation on the field. Okay, so please do not stop. If it goes over 250, don't worry guys. 250 volts work correctly, okay? But just so you guys don't stop, here we have our motor plate data. So we're going to pause the video, and then afterwards I'm going to continue assigning you all the steps and whatever I consider are the right ones. Okay, so we're going to run certain comparisons, and finally, or ultimately, we're going to connect everything through our camera so you guys can see how this works. So we're going to configure this according to what we have in our computer. Okay, so we'll see you in our next video.